YouTube. Welcome to Stereo Studs. My name's Stephen, and this is a channel that I've created to allow me to share my Lego collection and also sort of document and take you through my plans and sort of integration of a future layout within my Lego room. This is my first video. I'll be focusing very much on kind of where I'm at with my collection at the minute, which will make more sense in a second, and then I'll sort of run through how I hope to sort of pull something together and create an interesting layout, sort of with what I have and with the space I have. So I'll flip the camera around and I'll sort of give you a bit of an overview of things. Okay, guys. So this is the sort of room that I have inherited to sort of build my Lego collection into. Obviously, at the minute, it is a lot of boxes. There are some built sets sort of littered in and amongst all of these boxes, but for the most part, this is Lego that I've been accruing for sort of a number of years. To cut a long story short, since I started sort of my collection in earnest, I have been through a number of properties. Me and my family have been building a house over the last sort of couple of years and staying in a caravan on site, which has kind of rendered Lego space null and void. So I have continued to accrue sets as time goes by, but obviously have not really had the option to build much more than the odd one here and there. So basically what you see in front of you is my collection, almost in its entirety. So I don't want to sort of dwell too much on this scene at the minute, because really my emphasis is on trying to sort of get through these boxes and get building and sort of get creating. So but this is really just to sort of give a bit of a setting as to why I am where I am at the minute with my Lego. You can see obviously a few bits and pieces have been built here and there, some newer sets, some older ones, most of which I've built with the intention of sort of including in my layout as time goes by. The collection that you see in front of you is a combination of bits and pieces for me, and I do also sort of dabble a little bit in Lego investing. So I do pick up sets along the way with the intention of sort of holding on to for a while and selling sort of further down the line to sort of enable me to continue buying with sort of minimal impact on the rest of my family. So the sort of collection that I have here, this setup of boxes, will obviously have to move to allow me to actually sort of create within this space. I have about 24 square meters in here, which I think is great. Really building to kind of get building and get creating. I sort of plan sort of going forward with the channel to basically commence with an unboxing of sorts. Not in the traditional sense. Obviously all of these sets and boxes have been opened at some point, but over the course of things moving from one attic to another and one space to the next, a lot of bits and pieces have been sort of piled in together in the various boxes. So for the most part, I couldn't actually tell you what is in a lot of the boxes. So as part of my sorting process, I'm going to sit down and take a number of boxes and just kind of work my way through them, unbox them, sort of filter out the sets I want to keep, the sets that I might want to move on, the sets that will form part of my city, and so forth. So that's kind of probably my short-term intention with this channel, with a view of getting the space cleared so that I can get tables in here and start creating. Now I have a bit of an idea in terms of a layout. I have it sort of documented on my computer. I'll sort of bring the screen up in a second, but the idea is that I'm going to essentially table the circumference of the room. I will come sort of in sort of a little bit further away from the wall in this section to allow me to have a little build table up here as well, just so that I can actually be sort of building and creating in the space where the city is actually based. I also then intend to I have a center table, with, you know, obviously space to get around the entirety. I have sort of mapped it out in Excel at this point. Very generally, really, I'd like to get sitting down with base plates and just kind of play around a wee bit and just understand how much space I actually have to work with. But to kind of summarize, let me just bring my computer up here. I kind of want to sort of build a layout largely around a railway. Now, this isn't perfect, but we can kind of endure a bit. So this is essentially the layout. This being the front, or the door into the room. This being the center, and then this being the layout, sort of around the table itself. Each of these squares representing a base plate. As far as I'm concerned, anyway. So basically, the intention, like I said, center table, which will sort of be my sort of idea of a city. Obviously, it's not going to be full city scale, but it's going to give that representation anyway. It will have, like, hopefully a terminus station with sort of a line run in and out of it, connecting with a loop that will run around the circumference of the room. I also hope to have some sort of a light rail network within that sort of center table, if I can accommodate. I then sort of I just want to incorporate lots of little sort of scenes and settings around the layout itself. So, you know, in one corner, I come from a coffee background at present. I own a coffee shop, and, you know, sort of my life revolves heavily around coffee. So I would like to incorporate that into my layout, along with, you know, the sort of emphasis on railway. So I hope to have a mountainous area in one corner with, you know, a coffee farm, and then a transport network taking that coffee from farm to roastery, and then to various competing coffee chains within the towns and so forth in my layout. Like I said, I'd also like to have a couple of little towns, very small, sort of in various stages of the layout, a bit of a medieval town style setting. I'd like to have a port in the corner, with a bit of a beach, just to incorporate sort of a little bit of sand and so forth, and a bit of water into the layout. And then I intend to have a large train yard in this corner. And then obviously I plan to bring the table across the front of the door. So in that area, I'm hoping to build a bridge of sorts, which will allow, you know, the railway to run sort of unbroken around the room, but also allow access sort of in the room itself. So that's the plan. The reality could be very different, but, you know, you got to dream big, and I've always harbored these sort of desires to have a layout with a lot of railway. So, you know, I'll do the best with that, and we'll see sort of how that works out. All right, guys, that's probably enough for this video. I think I've rambled on enough. Sort of the thought of kicking things off kind of, you know, is exciting. So it's kind of fun to talk about, and hopefully soon sort of get into motion. Thank you very much for watching. If anyone has any comments or thoughts, in particular in terms of my sort of ideas for a layout, then please drop a wee comment down, and, you know, that's something obviously I can take on and discuss, you know. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed it all, what I'm trying to pull together here, and if you do want to be kept up to date and you are interested with future developments, then, you know, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and so forth. I don't know how regular I'll be at the onset of kind of a lot to sort through, but, you know, I hope to get the wheels in motion and sort of get things moving soon. Thanks, guys.